Hi guys, my name is Sean. I'm a houseplant enthusiast from Jakarta, Indonesia. I'm in Singapore now at an event called Pets and Plants Extravaganza, and I've been invited here to be a guest judge for a competition called Botanica Exotica. Shortly, I will show you some of the winners, and then I will also tour some of the booths here. As you can see here, it is a public holiday and everyone is out. People are bringing their pets, children, couples are out. It's such a beautiful scene to see. And the plant community is out here to support this event as well, so we will see some interesting growers, sellers, and collectors in Singapore. In the row to the left and to the right are the contestants for the events. So earlier on, me and Irene from Leafing Around, we were guest judging. We were looking around, looking at every little detail and giving all these plants scores based on one, their size and maturity, based on their color, based on their care and conditions, and finally based on their form and beauty. So some of these are the awards. So this particular one won the first prize in philodendron. This is the Leland Miano. It's grown quite beautifully, and one of the reasons why it won is because it's grown beautifully. Look at every single petiole that came out, and every leaf is just nice and healthy. And then over here is actually the show's winner, the Alocasia reticulata, also by the same person. I actually featured this person in my channel before, and he's known to grow large aroids. So check out that episode if you want to see some of his tricks and tips on how to grow them large quickly. And I think one of the reasons why this one won was because one of its sheer size. It is around 180 centimeters tall, and every single leaf is in very, very good condition, and it's like nice, erect, and we really, really like its maturity. Also, the way that it's cared for is quite in pristine conditions. This plant here is the Monstera gracilis. It won second for Monstera. Sorry, I'm not showing you every single winner, but just the ones that are within my reach. But this one is particularly beautiful. Look at how nice the form of the new leaf is. And the entire plant is just really, really elegant to look at. It's been cared for really well. The Alocasia tiny dancer, and it got second in the Alocasia category. Look at it from up above. How cool is that? It is symmetrical. Every leaf is still there. All the old leaves are still hanging on. It's cared for in a very pristine condition. And it's just got this beautiful bromeliad type growth pattern here. And I'm not actually sure if this plant is easy to care for or not, but it's just grown in such a nice condition. It's got such a beautiful form. That's why it was awarded. And there are some winners here on this table, but this one is one that I think a lot of you guys know, the Anthurium King of Spades. Look at that new leaf. It is just so stunning. And then the new leaf will expand its size and turn into this color. That's really amazing. The winner for the variegated plant is this Frydek here. Number one, it is huge. Let me put my palm here. This comparison, it is massive. And every single leaf is in pristine condition. There's no crisping at all. And it is actually a rather mature size. It's even started putting out babies off the side. So yeah, this is a very even variegation throughout, no green leaves. And I checked earlier to make sure that none of the leaves have been cut off before, because that would be a little bit cheating, but all the leaves seem to be intact and also very, very balanced variegation.
Thank you so much, Irene, for modeling these beautiful plants for us. The Anthurium regale crossed with luxuriance featured here was awarded number 1 in the Anthurium category. Do check out Irene's YouTube channel, Leafing Around, if you have not done so.
What a beautiful day it is. I see someone buying some beautifully locally made pottery. And as you can see here, the vibe is really good. I'm going to be showing you a clip of the vibes, the ambience, so you can soak it in before we start our tour. I would like to start the tour in this quieter corner. So this booth here is a joint between Nana and Julian. They're going to be on the screen. And Nana is here on Facebook, Garden Paradise Singapore, and Julian has just one more plants. They are business partners in this event here. So there are a lot of plants here that were propagated locally, but there were some that were brought in from Thailand. What's particularly stood out to me are these beautiful caladiums. And I guess they must be from Thailand because Thailand has such a strong hybridizing effort and production for caladiums. They also do some orchids here. So Nana does a lot of export for plants from Thailand into Singapore. A lot of our customers are from here. This is also a beautiful orchid that is in bloom. How nice. All right, everyone, this is Yongshun.
Hi,
And your booth name is called Nursery
0312.
But you're also the main organizer for the Plants and
This
Pets
event.
Extravaganza.
Correct. Okay, actually, most of our customers these few days are what we call the fresh blood. So these are something new to them.
Yeah.
And most of them are actually, they started off with those common house plants. So when they actually see this kind of so-called exotic or rare plants, right, to them it's like, something special and unique,
Yeah.
which they don't normally see in our local nursery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And in your booth here, I see a lot of aroids here, but you also have some interesting, beautiful
Codexes
caduceus.
and things like that. Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
This is actually very, very cute. Look at this baby Stephanias.
Erectas and
Stephania erecta. And this one is what is this one? The Subarosa?
So
or
the Stephania Kawisakii, which is
Oh, yeah.
what they call the novas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have some of the Sabrosa there.
This is in bloom already.
Yes. And
Fruiting, right?
it's fruiting. All the red things are actually the berries. But
Oh my
you have to wait for the berries to actually turn red and
Yeah.
then get the seed inside, right, to actually plant it. But it will take a long time for you to see them grow into something, you see.
Oh yeah, because they're codex.
Yes.
Okay, now here's one more thing. They have gender. They have male and female, correct? Or no?
Yes, correct. But so far, what I have, right,
Yeah.
is basically, I think it's a female. So most of them actually do have the seeds, lah, actually.
Somehow you don't pollinate them.
They self-pollinate themselves. I think it's through insects or things like that.
Oh, interesting. Do you grow them in a nursery or where does your stock come from?
Okay, I grow them in the nursery plot
Yeah.
at Seletar.
Oh, you
as
have a
well.
plot
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Which we visited the last time, some of the owners there.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
But it's on the other side of Seletar. Correct.
it's actually a big community of growers here. And this
Yes.
is amazing to see some of their works here. And I think some of the others are also around like plots as well. Like some of them are plot owners.
Most of them are
event.
private growers down here,
Yeah.
and some of them are actually they have their own shops and things like that.
Okay.
Plant shops. Yeah.
That's really cool to see the Singapore plant community come together. like
Correct.
this.
Correct. I
Refreshing.
mean, our community is actually quite united. You see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct.
Very supportive and also again very diverse.
Yes. Correct.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Right. Ken.
All right, this is Yonghua from Mosscape. Yonghua here primarily does staghorn ferns or platyceriums, but it's also dabbled now into orchids. So as you can see here, he has a rental service for orchids, and of course he sells them here. So you bring in plants or do you propagate them here in Singapore?
We do both for platycerium. Yeah. So for those that need a longer time to propagate, like ridleyi's and coronarium.
Yeah.
So these are the plants that we will bring in from overseas and then acclimatize them to our local climate before selling them. Yep. So for the others, like hybrids especially, we are propagating them ourselves in our nursery.
So you're making your own hybrids as well?
Yeah, correct.
How's the platyceriums being received in Singapore? Is it popular here?
It has gained a bit of popularity in the recent months after the aroid has picked up.
Singapore uses a lot of orchids in commercial spaces.
Yep.
Quite a lot. So I guess one of your business here is to just provide solutions to decorate the commercial spaces.
Yes, correct. So apart from commercial, we are also looking at providing a solution to homes as well.
Yeah.
So during festive seasons, more often than not, people buy and throw after the festive season.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to have a more sustainable way of keeping our plants, hence the rental service.
Okay.
Yep. So
So
it's that after Chinese New Year, they can actually return to us and then we will grow them and bloom again and rent out again.
Oh, that's amazing. So over here in this booth, there's a group of ceramicists and they formed a little community. They share a studio, if I'm not wrong, a workshop. But there are quite a few different people here and they, particularly for the plants, they use desert plants, caduciforms. And this here is the work of Mr. Chris Chua. Mr. Chris, do you want to say hello? And I believe you're Adrian. Nice to meet you. Adrian is over here. His work is here, and all of these artists have their own Instagram accounts, and I'm going to be flashing them on the screen in case you want to check them out. But some of them are beautiful, some intricate. Look at this one here. This is very, very unique. And behind on the shelf there, you will see some of their works as well. That is really cool. Everybody seems to have slightly different style. This is more cute. And this one is very, very dreamlike. Interesting. And this one too. So all of these pots will look really good on different kinds of plants. There are a few booths here showcasing aroids that we are actually very familiar with. I'm not going to get too up close because there's always people around. This is actually very, very beautiful here. This display. Really stunning in that too. I really, really love the display here. But again, it is a little bit crowded. This one's called the Rabbit Island. And this is very, very fascinating. Look at this shelf here and display. This is like next level Planned Parenthood. And over here we've got a booth for cacti. That's cool. There's some beautiful kalanchoes here. Look at this one here. This is like a very, very interesting color. And back here as well, this looks like a dried flower, but it's very much alive. Not seen this kind of kalanchoe before. It's Foliage Concierge on Instagram, and he has a lot of next level advanced plant care tools, if you can call it that. Tell us what you have here.
This is sunset grow lights.
Yeah, that one there, right?
Yes, because in Singapore there's a lot of apartments and everyone don't get a lot of sunlight.
Yeah.
That's why we do sell grow lights for people that cannot receive lights, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can grow a lot of plants underneath here.
For this light is the radius is about 4 feet.
4 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is maybe for like floor plants.
Yes, for standing on the floor. Then this is on the table.
This is the tabletop ones. Interesting. And what are these?
This is fertilizer.
Fertilizer. Wow.
This
Looks
is
very serious.
yeah. This my friend is doing this, so I'm selling this and promoting this for him too.
And of course you have like, this is a cover pot.
Yeah.
And
daily grow post.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you put like your moss or your growing medium inside here, and aroids can climb up
correct.
onto it. This is the booth of Black Sun Botanist and a blob of green. We featured them on the channel before. They have a plot in Singapore here. And this is what they wanted to highlight. This is the ZZ plant. Apparently this is the wild form. The ones that we have been growing in our homes, that's actually ones that has been commercially cultivated, selectively bred to look the way it does. But this is what they actually look like in nature. How wild is that? What a treat for us to be able to see this here. Even I'm amazed. And this is the variegated version, obviously. But it is very, very different from the one that we have grown. The one that we grow have much thicker petioles than this. And over here from a blob of green, this is a Philodendron SP. If you watch our video, you'll know that we highlighted one that has leaves that kind of curl around, twist around. And this is one of the babies that is on sale here. As you can see, the leaves have all these beautiful, twisty type growth on them. And this new leaf is coming in so beautifully. So this is the Facebook page, Singapore Carnivorous Plant Store. And look at this beautiful, interesting carnivorous plants. Now there's a lot that we're familiar with. We know about the Nepenthes, and we've seen a lot of Pinguiculas, but there's some really, really interesting ones here as well. Wow. And this is also this is a Gesneria. This is not carnivorous, right? Yeah, it's a Gesneriate plant.
How's it going, guys? I'm Rock from Corridor Farmers, and I'm right here at my booth here.
Yeah.
So basically, my mode of operations here is we do consultancy. We build for our clients, and we advocate people to grow their own vegetables and produce. Last but not least, what you're looking here is an aggregation of different products from different brand owners.
Yeah.
Look at this book here. This is from my good buddy Christopher Liao. He is a celebrity farmer in Singapore.
Okay.
This is his own book. Check it out. And of course, we do have a range of products here. From Unisil and all the way to pest control from NBS, neem oil. So Our mission is a farm in every corner. We want people to start growing their vegetables and produce. And
Yeah.
hopefully one day, our city will be flourished with food in all buildings.
Now, quick question. Why is
Yes.
it called corridor farmers?
Well, the idea is to have people growing at their corridor in any unutilized space. So that's why we are called corridor.
Nice.
And farmers, because we are not a single entity, we want everybody to join us in this community as farmers.
That is cool. So you want people to grow in their homes, to be a bit more self-sustainable,
Exactly.
and to understand where food source come from.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did understand a few times that I've talked to a few people here that Singapore's addressing food security and trying to get people to be sustainable and to grow their own vegetables and fruits in the rooftops, also in like HDB,
Yes.
community gardens. So nice to see that one booth here at least has representation.
And we love to spread the awareness. And thank you for this opportunity. For sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
All right, guys, we've got Heng Ji here from Plants Ate My Money. So he's very, very passionate, extremely knowledgeable about potting media. And he was explaining to me in very, very dense, in great details, some of the compositions for these potting mix. And they are meant to be very, very sustainable on a very, very next level. I'm going to run my hands through this because this looks very, very comfortable. If I was an Aroid, I would really love to live in this. Feel free to read his Instagram because a lot of the product information, and they are very, very valuable, are on his Instagram account. And I will not be able to have the time to share them here. This here is a local potter called PNP Plante. This is their account. And there's some really, really interesting pots here. It's always nice in these events to take a break from the plants and look at some of these homes, future homes of plants. Some interesting shapes here. And for those of us visiting, I know that we can't really bring plants back, but we can absolutely shop for these pots. So these varieties of pots have been imported from Japan, Thailand, China, and such. So there's quite a lot to choose from. Singapore is a strong trading nation, so a lot of goods come in and out of here. And the local people here and tourists get to enjoy a diversity of products here at a very, very fair price. So Adrian focused on crafts on these plants. These are kokedamas, these are mini bonsais, wires, and there's some really, really interesting pottery happening here. Adrian, he does workshops and he also does these crafted plants products and these events. Look at this beautiful mini bonsai. They make people so happy. And he's also mentioned that he does teach a class on mounting staghorn ferns. And there's some really, really interesting mini orchids here. So I guess he's someone who's very, very interested in growing plants in unique ways and to display them. That's really cool. This is like next level. Look at this. This is actually really, really stunning. So these woods for mountain staghorn ferns actually sourced locally. A small plot owner in Singapore, local business. And I guess they propagate a lot of aroids. There's some caladiums and some bromeliads here. Look at the light hitting them. Just nice. So beautiful. Actually, the sun is coming down. It's like late in the evening. So yeah, there's a lot of syngoniums, Fishkias, a lot of alocasias, and this beautiful Homalomina erubescens, variegata. So this is the leafy alley. And there's a lot of interesting plants here. They're usually the more common plants, and they're very interested in making plants affordable. And I know that they also have some shops in the traditional market in Singapore that reaches out to like the more elderly crowd. So these are some interesting baby Ficus elastica, Ficus ruby red. Very, very common plants. But I'm sure like a lot of their job, like these are very common office plants. I'm sure they really have to reach out to the customers and explain a little bit about the care. These are the basic plants that if you are new into the plant hobby, these are probably what you would pick out. And number one, they're not too expensive. Number two, the care is quite easy on these. This is Benjamin from Grow It Organic.
Okay guys, so this is actually a 100% organic plant growth solution, 6-in-1. Okay, so firstly, yes, we know it's already organic. Our second function is it increases yield and growth.
Yeah.
Thirdly, it's a natural insect and pest repellent. So what it means is when you see pests on your plant, doesn't mean when you spray on it instantly, the insects and pests goes away. It will naturally help the plant grow stronger first,
Yeah.
and then insects and pests don't come to it. So fourthly, it's actually a soil rejuvenator as well.
Okay.
Fifth, it helps strengthen stalks and roots.
Okay.
Yeah. And lastly, it's biodegradable.
Yeah.
So you can spray on the whole plant, from the leaves to the stem and to the roots, and you can actually drench it in the medium. No
Okay.
chemicals. You can actually spray it daily.
Yeah.
There's no issue with it.
Yeah.
You won't get like chemical burns or any leaf burns.
Are you allowed to share what are some of the key ingredients here that give it that property?
No.
It's a secret.
Yes, it's a
Proprietary. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So the name is Grow It Organic. And I guess your Instagram is on the screen here. So this here is Timothy from the Green Citizen. So he's a bit busy with the customer now, but he primarily carries alocasias. He's what you would consider a home grower, propagating the plants from home and selling them here. These are all like different species. Dragon Moon, Black Maharani. There are a lot of the labels on the tag. Feel free to follow on Instagram to learn more. This Golden Bone. There's some interesting names on these that I'm not even familiar with. It's an interesting booth for mini bonsai. Look at that. This is so tiny. Look at this. My pinky is this small, and this is how tiny it is. Very, very cute. And was really drawn to this kokodama that's like with colored yarn. It's my first time seeing it, and as you can see here, that one is already sold. Very cute. Actually, mini bonsais are very, very adorable, very calming to look at. They look like miniature version of trees. Very cute. And it's so nice to see them doing well. That one's reserved. Someone's got that one. This seller here is called the Rainforest SG. He's been very busy since the start of the day. Some really interesting plants in this booth actually. Once he has the time, I would really love to get his attention. So this is Shao Jie from the Rainforest.
Hello.
SG.
Yeah.
So you have a very busy booth happening here. And I see that you grow different kinds of plants. You have your Stephanias, your forest plants, you have some aroids, some beautiful begonias over there. And this is your dad helping you out.
Yeah, this is my dad helping me. Yeah, so my family has been quite supportive with this venture. So
Yeah.
we are just like trying to offer different kinds of plants to the consumers in Singapore. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit. How do you propagate? Do you grow your own plants? And
So it really depends on what's popular currently. So let's say the Splendid is suddenly very popular, so we'll start to produce more for ourselves. But then there are some plants that are not as popular at the moment. We will work as like a cooperative, like we outsource this kind of propagation to some of our friends in our community, and then we sort of like buy back for them, and then we sell it to the customers afterwards. So it depends on like what's hot and what's not at the moment. Yeah. So we are called the Rainforest because like I'm quite interested in like quite a diverse range of plants, like from trees to shrubs to like aroids and whatnot. So we try to keep different kinds of like plants, like trees, begonias and stuff like that. So some plants are more common, like this Scaphlera elongatissima. It's more common, but if you style it a certain way, like you can grow the smaller ones at the bottom of at the base of the pot, and then you can twine it into a certain bonsai style. Then
I see that this is like a...
Yeah. So it's grown in this way, so it looks more aesthetically pleasing, and the office crowd or like someone that wants to keep something green at home would appreciate. So we believe that even common plants can also be made into like a very nice showpiece at home. So it doesn't have to be something rare. So
this is one single plant, but it's branched out like crazy. How do you make it branch out so much in the bottom?
Okay, so this one is not grown by us, but it's sort of like a request that we made with our supplier. So we just told them that we wanted the ground cover to be covered instead of using just pebbles. Yeah. So now it's covered with greenery, like from the side growth of this main branch, and then we wanted the main branch to be deliberately like it looks deliberate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bonsai in a way. Yeah. So that was the final outcome that we wanted to achieve, and then we just let our supplier know they wanted something like that.
That's
Yeah.
really interesting. So, yeah, so there must be some kind of technique to let them bush out in the bottom.
Yeah, but this one I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about the technique.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Interesting technique.
yeah, but sometimes the trees, right? Like we keep some pachiras back at our plot. Sometimes they branch out randomly at different maturities. So
Yeah.
the only way you can really do this is by actively trimming and trimming the bush and like just encouraging the side growth.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes even when you bend it, it might also disturb its, what is meristematic.
Oh,
Yeah, it might disturb some of that. So they think that the top is dying. That's why they put out a lot of.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I even know maybe it's possible for the growing eye can put some cakey paste around it to.
Oh yeah, sometimes they peel off the cadmium layer or something like
Yeah.
that to induce that yeah, they do that sometimes. Yeah.
Interesting.
But this one I'm still new to trees in terms of propagation. So most of my propagations so far have been very stem propagated.
Yeah.
So this kind of like bonsai and stuff, it's very limited to just using bonsai wire to twine certain plants.
Beautiful. This
Yeah.
is really, really.
So this is one big one, and then the smaller ones that we try and work with are like this. We call this a Jacaranda mimosifolia. So these are the more simple like bonsai style that we go for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you do this yourself?
Yeah.
or
So
does your...
this kind we do it ourselves. Like
Okay.
like the what I told you, right? To make something simple and something more common
Yeah.
into something more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
And then easier for someone to keep this at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And of course, we have to point out that you have some beautiful begonias, and I saw you load them up. You brought more. I saw only
Yeah,
like one or two.
we stocked them today because yesterday we had this bumper crowd that just like loved the begonias that we brought over.
Yeah, this is
so
actually very-
for the begonia journey, right, it was more like I ran out of space back at home,
Yeah.
and then I wanted to keep something regardless. So I moved into like jungle plants and begonias alike. So I started out with the cane begonias first because they are slightly easier to care for as compared to the rexes. So then
propagate too.
one led to another, and this is part of the collection now. But we try and bring the ones that are easier to care for and yet at the same time more attractive to.
So this is a Leah zipperlern. I didn't know that they get so big. This is
Yeah.
insanely huge.
This is very. It was a joy to grow this. So back then when it was like smaller, so it maintained the leaves all the way from the start.
Yeah.
So they tend to keep the patterns at the bottom.
Yeah.
But you see as they progress further and further
pattern
towards
is
the light, right, they tend to lose a bit of that texture.
Yeah.
But the leaves and the texture, the touch is still there, and it's still a joy to grow.
It's very nice
Yeah.
to the touch.
Some of them come out as like purple or pinkish leaves, and then some of them come off as like copper leaves. This one in particular came out with like pink and purple leaves, but in the end, now it's more copper and more brownish. So it's quite interesting. There's a certain like leaf morphology going on.
Yeah. Quick care tips for this.
This one, okay, so I realized that they are not very light demanding. So I grow them at the bottom of my rack.
Okay.
But where it is, right, it's very cooling and it's constantly moist.
Okay.
So at the bottom of the rack, the parameters are more stable. And so I think they like more stable environments.
Okay.
Yeah, and they don't like it to be too hot. And they can't dry out.
Okay.
Yeah. So when it's a heat sensitive plant, so when it was bigger and I moved it up to a higher rack, they shriveled up when it was hot and the leaves like drooped down.
Okay.
But once I moved them to somewhere more shaded and I watered them, it perked back up immediately.
So keep it moist all the time.
Keep it moist, keep it cool.
Cool.
Yeah. So in Singapore or anywhere else for that matter, when it's bright, right, sometimes it means also it's hotter.
Hot. Yeah, it can be hot.
But this is easy to work with because they don't need so much light.
Yeah.
So you can just put them in somewhere more shaded, somewhere more cooling.
Yeah.
For me, when I advise customers, I always tell them to keep them don't keep this as a standalone plant.
Yeah.
Keep this with the rest of your aroids and then just chuck them in the middle of that whole jungle of foliage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good tips. Thank you so much.
No worries. Yeah.
So there's a garden pest spray here. It's all natural. Feel free to follow the Instagram. It's this one here. They use cedar oil as their base, as a natural pest control. I've never used this before, so I don't know the efficacy, but this is, the ingredient looks really, really interesting. So in Singapore here, there's a lot of really interesting next level plant care products. Interesting to see. So this is Alvin from Local Loco. This is an interesting booth here. So I guess you do staghorn ferns.
Yes, we do. We do platyceriums, various forms, various sizes as well.
Yeah, and when they get big, this is what they actually look like. Some of them. This can get much bigger. Right?
Much bigger, at least 2 to 3 times more.
Yeah, this is the elephant.
This is hybrid Neptune.
Neptune
Yes.
is what it's called. There's so many hybrids of these coming to the market lately. And do you propagate these or do you bring them in or what's your...
We bring some in, and we also do our own propagation from mother plants like this, which has reached a certain maturity.
Yeah.
So we'll extract pups and then release them into the market. This is a classic SS Fong from Malaysia.
SS is Feng Si Qi.
Fong Si Qi, SS Fong is the breeder's name. Fong Si Qi is the doctor's name.
Okay.
So these 2 forms came from Malaysia. Very classic, very popular last time.
And I guess for these, you do need to propagate them by offsets because if you do them by spore, the babies might be a bit different.
They would look, they are variables. They might look the same, they might look different. But usually from spores, it takes too long.
Yeah, and from space like Singapore, the spore, you would need a lot
of space. So it's not really something for us. And then,
Yeah. And you do exports?
We do. We have shipped to Japan, US, Canada, and some European countries. Yes.
Cool. Check out your Instagram on the screen if you are interested in some staghorn ferns. Thank you. All right, I'm with Jay here from the Philippines.
Hello.
Hi, what a beautiful booth you have here.
So I'm carrying a Philippine endemic species and native plants here. So as you can see, we have Medenilia magnifica philippinensis. So this one is really rare in the Philippine market. It's really hard to find for this kind of size.
Yeah.
In the Philippines, we call this kapa kapa. So when you check this, it's like an angel wing, like that. So the native Filipino call this kapa kapa, but the scientific name is Medenilia magnifica.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
And you brought this size. You
Yes, I do hand carry to make sure that it's all safe.
You are crazy. I love it.
Yes, I am.
Love it.
Yeah.
And then you have all these beautiful orchids.
Yeah,
around.
this Philippine orchids is really rare and one of the best species to make a hybrid of orchids. So we call it Phalaenopsis schilleriana. So this is the blue. It's purplish. Yeah, look at that one.
Nice.
Yes, and I have some Epipremnum.
Yeah.
This is a new cultivar of Epipremnum pinnatum margarita.
It's called Margarita.
Yes, they call it margarita. So, as you can check, it looks like a mix of aurea and marble.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's from the a hybrid made in the Philippines, obviously.
Actually, it's not a hybrid. It's like a new introduced species from the wild. They just found it in the wild, and then they introduce it, and then they name it Margarita. Actually, this is unregistered yet.
Okay.
Unregistered. And the next I have here is the Epipremnum pinnatum palawanensis marble.
So it's different from the regular marble.
Yes, it only can be found in Palawan, Philippines. That's why it's being called Palawanensis marble.
And Palawan is a beautiful island.
Yes, Palawan. Yeah,
And
of course.
This is the name of your store and
Yes,
your
Plantophilia Manila. And of course, what we have here is the Manila's pride of Anthurium. Anthurium Manila's pride.
that can get really, really, really big.
Yes, I'll show you. It's a new leaf.
Yeah. Cute. This is considered still a baby, right? Because they get enormous.
Yes, it can go gigantic.
You can become a mattress.
Yes, that's true. So I carried one just to showcase this.
Yeah.
And
so it's easy for you to bring plants in with documentation, and then when you're done, you can still bring them back.
Yeah.
With you.
Because that's our nature of business. We do import and export
That is
in the Philippines, and of course, for the Syndapsus, we have some Syndapsus mayari, a good varieties of mayari.
Yeah.
And we have, I don't know if you heard about this. People call this Philodendron emerald eyes. And people just simply mistaken for Elsimani before.
Yeah.
Yeah. This emerald eyes. Actually, we have another one for like aurea. So I'll show you. And then this another one. Actually, they're the same, but the variegation is aurea.
Yeah, and the baby leaves are so cute. Oh my gosh.
Good variegation, right?
Yeah. And it's crazy. I saw you earlier this morning. You were just unpacking these from from a box.
Yeah. And then this is the neon. I also have a good one. This one is, I don't know, a medium variegata.
Yeah, that's cool.
I also have,
This is a Zipoliano? Variegata?
Zipolianum, which is native in the Philippines.
Okay, I know a lot of mediums are apparently from the Philippines.
Actually, they're native as well in Malaysia, Indonesia.
They have a huge footprint all over the globe.
So have some jewel orchids, which is endemic in the Philippines, Macodes sp. Quezon.
Yeah.
Their leaves are thick.
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's very thick. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That means it's durable maybe.
And also I have one of the best. This one is for show.
Argostema.
Argostema.
Okay.
Can be found in the Philippines as well.
Strongly low-down,
Macrobotris.
So these are the vines.
Yes. People actually looking for a flower for this one, but it is very impossible to get one because it takes years, like 2 years in order for them to have a flower.
Okay.
Something like this.
Yeah.
So they have to wait, just have to put a pole in it and put it on a good light. Yeah. It can tolerate full-blown sun to shaded part.
Yeah.
So have some
beautiful.
Also have here. This is Paphiopedilum philippinensis variegata.
Oh my God.
Variegated orchid in Philippines.
It probably flowers beautifully too if it's a Paphiopedilum.
Yes, I'll show you the picture of it.
It's so cool that you provide these cards.
Yeah. But I just want to add, when it comes to the jewel vines of the Philippines, actually there are 14 kinds of jewel vines around the world, but 9 of it came from the Philippines, which is endemic, can only be found in the Philippines. Yeah. Which is, I have this one, and then I have the Holy Grail. Okay. This is Stronglodon
Shoki.
Yeah.
So you have it here?
Yeah, I have it here.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it's there. I only have 2 because the owner is he actually have the tree of that plant. Yeah. But they're still having a debate whether if it's a hybrid by nature of one Gonzalezii and Macrobotris. This is Macrobotris.
Now, are they difficult to propagate? I would imagine it would be quite easy. You know?
They're really hard to propagate.
Really?
Yes, according to my friend, it's really hard to propagate.
So are they done by seed now, or can you do vegetative propagation?
The most efficient way is by seed, but it takes years. You need to have a mother plant of this one. I'll show you the seed of this. This is already 1 year old.
And the seed is still there?
Yeah.
So cool.
So it's really hard if you're going to propagate by stem. People were just, in the Philippines, I asked my friend, can I propagate it by stem? They just laugh at me. And then they said, good luck if you can. And I was like, okay, I just wait to make it fruit.
This booth here belongs to the Midnight Garden. What a beautiful visual display here. Look at that here. There's some plant care products here, but look at this. This is actually very, very sexy to look at. And then there's some in a propagation bin here, some baby plants. I guess they really focus on alocasias and anthuriums. And I see some really interesting aroids here. I don't really know what this one is, but the leaf has really, really interesting coloration. What a cute begonia here. I guess they really, really like the dark leaf here with the black colored pots. Really like this visually, stunning. All right, I just done filming and I stayed a little longer than I should. My mom is somewhere out here. It's almost dinner time. And it's such a blast to be here, to be around all these plants, all these wonderful people. I had some really wonderful conversations. Some of them are even off screen because I didn't record everything that happened today. But it's so nice, and a lot of people showed up here to take photos together. There's a lot of nice selfie moments. It's nice to see how a lot of you guys actually look like in person. So thank you so much for watching this all the way to the very end. I hope that you've enjoyed this wonderful day with me here in Singapore, and do come visit if there's ever another plant show here. It is quite worth the visit. And of course, Singapore is a wonderful botanical destination in itself. There's a lot of really interesting parks to visit here. I guess I'm gonna bid you farewell now. Thank you. Bye-bye.